Welcome to the Entrepreneur Motivation Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Bello. Today, we're going to be talking about how you didn't fail, you learned. Every failure is really a lesson. It's not failing unless you quit. Oftentimes, we're afraid to fail because failing in school was bad. We didn't really want to show anyone our grades. For some reason, I'd always show my grades and be like, yep, I got the 40 on the tests. But most people would always hide exactly what they did because they did not want to be the stupid kid in class or the person who didn't know what was going on. And because of that, it's so easy to tie our identity to certain metrics. Like if we fail in school, if we're not making money like we used to, we feel bad. And those metrics aren't always indicative of success. Like you could be growing in other areas just because you didn't get an A on that test, because you didn't, make as much money as you did last month, you can start to feel like a failure. And I just want to remind you that that's not the case. This came up in a recent business coaching call that I was in, and someone was just feeling down, like she wasn't feeling like she was pulling her weight in her relationship. I'm not sure. I think she's married. I'm not 100% sure, but I wondered if it was because of the financial thing. She wasn't really making a whole lot of money at that time in her business. And I could resonate with those feelings of feeling like worthless. Like, what good am I? I'm trying so hard. I'm not making the money I want to. I know how that feels. And I'm sure you do too. But we have to remind ourselves, look, we're waking up early. We're focusing on what we control. We're getting our workouts in. We're staying consistent. That's not what a failure would do. A failure would just never show up. We're continuing to show up. And as we make mistakes, we fail forward and we learn and we grow. And again, each failure is really a lesson. The faster you fail, the faster you succeed. Really cool quote here that Michael Jordan has said that I've heard a few times before. I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. From Michael Jordan, one of the greatest of all times. And I'm not a big sports person, but I do love the whole Michael Jordan thing, his work ethic. I just finished reading Relentless for a second time by Tim Grover. Lots of great stuff. And also The Last Dance was a really great documentary on Netflix if you haven't checked it out. But anyway, change how you view failure. It really does help to stop being afraid of failure. If you can just embrace it and start to learn that failure is actually a good thing in many cases, you'll grow faster. And of course, I want you to take precautions. Don't put it all on the line. Don't lose all your money and bet the farm or the house or anything like that. You want to make sure you can recover from your failures. But if you have a couple of things in place and you just take action, what's the worst that can really happen? I remember hearing that exercise in the Tim Ferriss book, maybe the 4-Hour Work Week, where if you think about the worst thing that could possibly happen, maybe you have to sell your car or move back in with your parents and your business doesn't really work out. That's usually the worst that can happen, unless you put it all on the line. So don't do that. You don't want to lose your house and all those things. And again, don't bet the farm type thing. But talking about Tim Ferriss, let's dive into a 7-step checklist for overcoming fear. I found this on an article on entrepreneur.com just to give them proper credit. So here were the steps. Step 1, define your nightmare. What's the absolute worst thing that could happen to you if you did what you were considering? 2, what steps could you take to repair the damage or get things back on the upswing, even temporarily? 3, what are the outcomes or benefits, both temporary and permanent, of more probable scenarios? 4, if you were fired from your job today, what would you do to get things under financial control? 5, what are you putting off out of fear? And then 6, what is it costing you financially, emotionally, and physically to postpone action? And then step 7, what are you waiting for? So just a reminder that failure is really the best teacher. If it comes too easily, if we get it on our first try, we may not get the lesson. But if we actually try something and we achieve our goal after multiple failures, after multiple lessons, we will appreciate it much more. And more importantly, we will also know what not to do again. Those things that force us to lose time or lose money or lose friendships, we'll learn what not to do to avoid those situations in the future. So the question here for you today is, how fast can you fail? And again, what are you putting off out of fear of failure or mistakes? What are the things that you're scared to try because you don't want to look dumb, because you don't want to fail, because you're afraid to lose a little bit of money? And my next key takeaway here is to get after it, because repetition equals mastery. As you continue to do it again and again and again, you'll fail in so many different ways that you're going to know not to do that, not to do this thing over here. If I do A, B happens. If I do C, D happens. You'll start to see the trends and you'll be able to summarize the things that went well and the things that didn't go so well, and hopefully update your processes, update your systems, and you can teach other people how to avoid the mistakes that you made. But also the flip side of this coin is that you can read books, listen to podcasts. You can learn from mistakes that other people have made so that you don't have to actually go through them yourself, which is a pretty cool hack. And while I did say that failure is the best teacher, in many cases, I would love to learn the failures that other people had so I can avoid them entirely if at all possible. That's it for this episode, though. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. If you haven't downloaded my complete life tracker yet, what are you waiting for? This is a really cool tool to download for free at chrisbello.com/free. And it's something that you can use to track all of your daily goals, your pages read in a book, how many times you exercise, any business goals that you have, and make sure that you're actually staying on track, staying consistent, and kind of keeping a log of the activities. So if you're not making the money you want to make, you can look back at the last 30, 60 days. What have you been doing? Where have you been spending your time? And alternatively, if you're really crushing it, if things are going well, you can also look at the things that most likely are correlating to that increase in income or whatever area it is that you were trying to improve. So with that being said, I will catch you on the next episode of the Entrepreneur Motivation Podcast. Thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to catching you on the next one.